Welcome to our channel. And we usually talk about the equine industry, the business, and the marketing. And we try to bunch them all together and talk about it. Today, I thought it would be interesting talking about goals. Tomorrow is 2021, guys. How exciting! We made it through 2020 this year. So, if we're talking about goals and doing the whole motivation thing and going through all that, it can be tiresome. It's great to listen to. I listen to other people talk about their dreams, their aspirations. But one thing is, what are the steps you're going to take to get there? What is your drive? How are you going to get there? For one of my goals, I want to work on creating social media content. I want to get better at that. And yeah, that may be one of my goals, but what steps am I going to take to get me to that goal? So, how many times should I post in a day? What platforms would be best for me to post on? What kind of post is my community looking for? And that's what I want to hone in on what you guys are essentially looking for to boost my social media, to make the content worthwhile for you guys. So some questions to ask yourself, and I wrote them down on a cute little notepad. The little notepad cow says, don't just stand there, write it down. So it's a stepping stone to get to that spot. So one question, what is it that you want to achieve? What I want to achieve is creating better social media content for my viewers. Another question, do you have different categories? So a few categories I do is business, a side hustle, personal, finance. Those are just a few options. Another question is, what do you know you can and will do better or be better at? So telling yourself, okay, I'm going to make better content by creating more pictures, by creating better videos, trying to get that lighting just right, which, sorry about the lighting, guys. It's snowing and it creates very odd lighting in our house. But that's one of the goals, is instead of saying, okay, I won't deal with it, I need to set the camera a certain position. I need to try, maybe I should be back further. Maybe I should be closer. Maybe I should experiment rather than just saying, it's Mother Nature. Work around what is your hurdle. Another question is assess your year of 2020, or whatever year you're watching this video. What were the ups and the downs within your personal life? All those categories we listed off earlier, what were they? Another question to ask yourself is, what steps do you need to take? So, going back to my social media example, I need to, for step number one, I need to create content for that day and get it prepared. And the next one, I need to make a picture or take a picture of what the content is going to be about. Next step is making sure the lighting is ready for that picture. The next step is putting it all together and making sure what I write is valuable for my followers. Another question to ask yourself is, what is the expectation for yourself? What's your level of expectation that you will hold yourself accountable to your goals? They say most give up on their goals within the first few months of setting goals. And I want to push myself, and I recommend you guys pushing yourself and holding yourself accountable on, okay, I am going to do step 1 as of January. And if I don't finish it, then I'm going to be disappointed because I'm going to have to go back and take all of February and do that step 1 when I could be on step 2. And I'll set myself deadlines on, okay, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. Just like as if you were at work or if you're in business or school. Set yourself accountable for those time frames that you plan on getting that done. Another question to ask yourself, with what you want to do, how do you make it happen? How are you going to get your feet rolling? So it kind of goes back to all those other questions, like, for example, my social media. Okay, I have these certain steps I need to do, and I'm going to set a deadline to make sure this is done, and I'm going to hold myself accountable that it is done. And yes, telling other people can be helpful, but I want to make sure that other person holds me accountable as well. Like, ask, for example, if I tell someone, hey, I want to make my social media better and I want to do these steps, and then I completely forget about those steps, I want that person to be like, why didn't you do it? And then that gut feeling in me will say, oh, I didn't have time, when I actually did have time. Or I just didn't want to do it. I may have not wanted to do it, but I should have overcome whatever that fear or obstacle was and just went for it. Another question to ask, what is the vision you are looking for? What's your end destination? So, for example, I want to make my social media better, my content for my viewers. And at the end of that line, when I can make it better, is I can give my followers valuable content and I'll know exactly what they're looking for, and I can create more valuable content on that topic where I'll just keep growing. And then the content I can provide, they can provide to their other friends or peers. And then those peers can provide it to their peers, and it can just go down the line with good information flowing out through the networks. So the next question kind of goes about back to that accountability. How are you going to make it through the whole year of 2021 or whatever year you're watching this? How are you going to make it? How are you going to make it? Create a system where you have deadlines and you create a process and organization and have others hold you accountable on how to make your goal. Another question is, how are you going to overcome those excuses? Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I have other obligations. I just don't want to. How are you going to overcome that? Mine is, maybe I should cut out a little time each day. So I take an hour instead of watching, for example, watching TV. I take that hour and I put it towards creating content for my social media. Look at what people are looking for, do research on it. And I create a list and I create myself a deadline. And instead of saying, oh, I'm just too busy, oh, I don't have time for that, I should create time. So instead of what you do on a daily basis, try and just take a sliver out. Like, I would like to read more books. So, my goal is to take a sliver before going to bed that I do a little bit of reading, that I reconnect and I read content that would be helpful for me. And I could take, say, 5 to 30 minutes timeline on just sitting before bed and reading. And then after that, I can go to bed. Another question is, if you stuck with your goals, what would your life look like within those 12 months? So if you stuck with it, how far would you achieve? Would you go past that goal? Would you grow above that goal? For example, instead of creating good content for social media, I make videos every day of valuable content to my community, my viewers. That's a step that I could go above and beyond. But I made that deadline for the first goal of making good social media content, that I was able to go up and above that. Another question is, what do you know about yourself? Are you a procrastinator? Are you going to wait till like the last day of that deadline and stress out about it, or just not do it because you're too busy? You weren't focused on it? Are you an organized person and want to plan out everything, and you start putting the steps in it and you decide, oh, I changed my mind. I don't want to. And then you just went through that whole plan and you got halfway there, but you just don't want to anymore. What do you know about yourself, and how can you get, say, another person or someone else to be there helping you, saying, hey, that's a good idea, you should keep going with that idea. Here's some ideas and tips to take more stepping stones in that direction. Have an accountability buddy. So all this information and all these questions are great, but at the end of the day, It's mumbo jumbo in a way, unless if you take the initial start at going forward with what your goal is, what your aspiration is. What do you want your future to be? How are you going to get there? And it starts with you making those steps. Everyone could be like, "Oh, good job, you made a step." Keep making those steps. Don't just quit at the first one. Dream higher than just staying. And you don't need a big fancy planner or big goal planner. I use a notepad. So I just write down what my number one goal is. I put a target date when I would like it done. I ask, how will I know I will achieve my goal? So what will I do to get to that goal? And I know I can make it within that deadline. Why is this important to me? Why is this goal worth doing? And it could be putting more good content to my viewers. And that's my goal, is providing good content to viewers like you. What strengths will help me achieve my goal? So what do I know about myself that will boost me in saying, okay, I can get this done? Just on a piece of notepaper. What obstacles will I face and how will I overcome them? So I know I'm going to have fear on creating content and worrying that it's not good enough. I'm just going to have to overcome that fear and put out good content, what I believe is good content, and see how my viewers react. And if it's not good content, then I know I need to go back and revisit what is not working and try and recreate it. And talk about the steps I'm going to take, those stepping stones, and how I will get there. And that's all I put on a new piece of paper. There's tons of goal-oriented on the web, and I'm sure they're free printables and downloadable. But I just take a piece of paper and write what I think is worth writing. So if I don't like the question how I got there, I'm just gonna erase that and maybe come up with a new question, or when I achieved it, I felt this way, or how I felt throughout the process, how far I made it each month, or did I achieve my goal before the end of that year? Did I give up on it before that end of the year? And explain why I gave up on that goal. So when I explain why I gave up on that goal, it could be it wasn't working and I have to go back and reevaluate, but it's going to take time for that reevaluation. So I need to focus on my other top goal or top priority, and then go back and revisit on, okay, this is why I had to stop this goal and move to the other one, is I need to revisit and redo to be able to achieve that goal. So this is like 25 cents almost anywhere when you're shopping for school supplies. I usually have tons of these laying around in the house. No sense in spending tons and tons of money on goal-oriented when it's, in my opinion, more personal if you write down in a plain Jane notebook, what is my goal? And what are the steps I'm going to take? How am I going to stay motivated through each one of those steps? How am I going to boost myself? How am I going to reward myself? Leave down in the comments on some goals you're wanting to achieve in 2021. How are you going to achieve them? What steps are you going to take? And this doesn't even have to be in the comments down below. Write it in your own notebook. Write it in a calendar that you hang up above your desk or in your kitchen. Now's the time to start and achieve your goals. Just take those steps, and it may be scary, but it'll be worth it at the end. Thanks again for joining Banner Stride. We appreciate you being here, liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. Leave down also in the comments any future videos that you want to see in 2021. We'd love to make good content for you guys. This is why we do it. So, goodbye 2020 and welcome 2021. Have a great day, guys.